is going on, world? It's your boy Soge Kami, and I'm back. One Piece chapter 1134 just came out. This chapter is called The Owl Library, and in this chapter we are making Elbaf great again. I have to say, I'm gonna put this out there, I have chats going back 2 years, almost 2.5 years, talking about this very subject, about Juk, Shanks' evil twin brother. I always was very questionable about that meeting that apparently Shanks had with the Gorosei. I said that couldn't be Shanks. Where's his scar? It's only showing, we literally saw Shanks a chapter or 2 chapters before that chapter. I think that was like 906, and we saw Shanks in 904. And it showed Shanks with a scar on his face, and Shanks showed back didn't have no scar. We're seeing it here again. There's no reason for Shanks, who just left this island, to teleport back here again. This is basically confirmation that he might not be his twin brother, but whoever just appeared on that island is not Shanks. And that is so exciting for me. It really is. But let's start off with the beginning of this chapter. And it starts off with Luffy. He's doing the Jinbei pose, basically thanking Saul for taking care of Robin before they had met. And I just love all of this reverence that everyone is having for Robin, because just like all the fans of One Piece, we all love and respect Robin. She's been through so much, and we just want the best for her, and so does every Straw Hat. Robin just feels so loved in this moment, and she deserves it, realistically. All the Straw Hats are just pulling on my heartstrings. I'm just loving how much everybody is there for her, and it's not just like a moment by herself. Everyone is watching Robin get to kind of indulge in that childlike essence again, like to be free. Like it just must be such a healing moment for Robin, and I feel like we all kind of feel that, and that is just beautiful in and of itself. And I'm so happy that Oda put so much emphasis on this part to just give Robin that moment of healing, because she needs it. This chapter is called The Owl Library, and they do visit like the Owl Library, and in doing some research, I wanted to know why we always see an owl and a library together. And owls are the symbol of knowledge and reading and learning. So I think that's why they kind of named it. That's why you see a lot of libraries and owls in the same thing. Owls is glasses holding a book. It just, owls are that symbol. So naming it this way kind of refers back to that. And I wonder if there's going to be something similar to how in Wano they had like the 20 years of night, you know, until waiting for the dawn, because owls are also nocturnal, right? So I wonder if there's a symbol towards like owls in that way as well. In this chapter, we also learn about Vegapunk is making a new body. Now, I know some people are saying, you know, fake out death, but they actually told us in Egghead that Vegapunk isn't really dead. Like, life and death is different for Vegapunk, because Vegapunk had created basically a storehouse for all of his knowledge and was living life through altars. So whatever this Stella body, however it's going to look like, it's gonna look a little like, maybe it'll look different, something that Vegapunk could use to travel around in. Now, I don't think it's going to look like a character we've already seen, so I am excited to see how this Vegapunk ends up looking. But I do hope that we keep Lilith with us. Now, there's going to be this new Vegapunk, and we do remember that Lucci, his mission was to kill all the Vegapunk altars. And the reason why he had to kill all of them was because even if one of them survived, and we already know that there's York, Lilith, and then the amalgamation of the, Edison and all the other Vegapunks that's running around the Sky Islands somewhere, weather area. So we do know that all they need to do is get another body, and they can imprint Vegapunk thoughts into that. And we just have to kind of wait and see as to what happens next with this Vegapunk altar body. And right now it does seem like Lilith is planning to stay on Elbaf. I don't know exactly what the plan is, but like I said, I really hope that Lilith does come with the Straw Hats, because I think Lilith is such a good fit and a really fun character. Now, Saul mentioned that he didn't think that the way of Elbaf was right when he first appeared in the Ohara flashback. And so since he returned, it is said that King Harold, he basically asked Saul to start a new school and to teach kids, you know, kind of the way that Saul thinks, you know, keep kids in the way of peace. And, you know, for the last 100 years since the new warrior pirates had, or the warrior pirates had gone out, like, you know, disembarked, it seems that, you know, Elbaf has made a change. So Elbaf isn't going to be the type of warring and fighting type of kingdom anymore. And you see it with the kids. They're teaching the kids, peace. And one of the things that King Harold used to always say is, don't fight other countries, trade with them. So he's teaching them in just different ways. Now we see Luffy, Usopp, Zoro, they meet Ripley. She is the biology teacher who teaches the students, the children of Elbaf. And she is the person who mentions this 100 years of change, or this change in the last 100 years for the Elbaf people. Now this similarly reminds me of Fishman Island. When Jinbei was fighting Who's Who, Jinbei mentions, like, Who's Who makes a remark saying, oh, I'm surprised you can move so quickly on land. And Jinbei says that, that type of racism is so out of fashion. And we do know that the fishmen were at the receiving ends, and they still are, of tons of racism that Jinbei himself is trying to, get people to change their minds about. That's something that Jinbei is really annoyed with. So I am reminded in the way that they're saying things are out of fashion. They're saying that things are out of fashion in the sense that we're not like that anymore, and we need to be doing better as a people. The same way that the fishmen are trying to change the way that people perceive them. So just like in the similar way that Saul was saying that, all the savagery is out of fashion. He didn't like that. He's now being the change. So I think that could be a bigger theme going on, where the Elbaf giants are in the middle of a change, where in Fishman Island they were opposed to the change just because they had faced so much racism in the past that it was hard for them to trust the same people who had persecuted them so deeply. Now it's like opposite, where it's like the giants are open to change, and it seems like some characters, potentially Loki, are very against it. So Loki would represent a Hildy Jones kind of character, where he's kind of against this change. He believes that they should continue to be warring, they should continue to be fighting, and they should really just be against all of this, like, integration, those kind of things. That's what Loki kind of represents. But at the same time, and we're going to get into it a little bit later, but at the same time, I don't feel like Loki entirely is a bad guy. Ripley notes that Luffy's Gear 5 form reminds her of a white warrior that she remembers in the past, and she notes that she was part of like the last generation of warriors. So I guess in the warriors generation they used to talk about the white warrior, and it just made her heart flutter. And Luffy says that's his free form. So I'm hoping that the giant warriors will see it, and what their reaction is, I guess we have to wait and see. Now in the final couple pages, we see Loki is speaking to a person he calls Shaggy, and basically Loki is trying to console them about a past trauma in which they wanted to get revenge, or they were persecuted but they didn't get revenge. And basically Loki says if you did get your revenge, then you would feel like it would make you feel better. And Shaggy basically says that they didn't want to take revenge, but they appreciate Loki for even considering it on their behalf, and notes to how kind they believe Loki is, and Loki hates to hear that. So them calling Loki kind is like kind of putting a radar in my head that no matter how much Loki tries to put off like this hard exterior, Loki has a thoughtful part of him where he sees people and their situation, and he wants them, especially his friends, to feel good about whatever it is that's happened to them. And so I think that we have to keep an eye on Loki. Loki might not be this terrible, awful character. And then in the last part of this chapter, we see a summoning circle, and then out of the summoning circle comes two characters, an unnamed woman who I'm going to call Sheik, and Juk, who I call Shanks' twin brother. Now, like I've said, I've thought of this Shanks' twin brother theory for a long time. I always believed that there was something up. And now we just kind of have to see. Hopefully the next chapter will not leave us hanging. My main question is, from the summoning circle, when we saw it being used in Egghead, the summoning circle, basically Saturn had to show up and he used the summoning circle to get the other characters. So either I think Sheik summoned Juk to Elbaf because Sheik was already there, or there is another party who summoned both of these characters who is also working with the Gorse. So we have to kind of wait and see what's going on there. But either way, I think this was a fantastic chapter. I loved it so much. There was so much mystique and just all the Robin parts and what comes next. I love the splitting of a group. I think that the Usopp, Zoro, Luffy trio is my favorite trio that could, team up. So it is like a wait and see moment. I haven't gotten anything. I haven't gotten a sense of anything so far. I just need to kind of, hopefully at the end of the next chapter, we'll get a little hint of what's going on with Kid, or maybe pick us up somewhere else. But we will have to see. This is our final chapter for the year 2024. And so wishing everybody a happy new year and wishing for more good One Piece in the new year. Thank you so much and Godspeed. Sogekami out.